Hi, I'm Danielle Holmes, and today I am interviewing Matt Becker, who is the president of the Realtor Political Action Committee. I'm going to be asking Matt some questions about RPAC and what RPAC does for our community.
So RPAC is the Realtor Political Action Committee. What RPAC does, it allows for realtors and affiliates and anybody invested in our industry to invest in a voice for us on the political side of our industry. It allows us to support candidates, it allows us to support issues, it allows us to protect our industry. The main focus of RPAC is to raise funds to support initiatives or candidates for office that support and invest in what we believe in as a realtor party. We are focused mainly on the issues that affect our industry as a whole. So an example of this would be Wentzville. The city of Wentzville this year has an initiative that is to create a sewer lateral program for Wentzville that allows for an insurance program for sewer laterals. We are supporting that initiative. It's on the ballot in April, and so we're assisting them with making sure that that passes. So we call ourselves the Purple Party. So we're not red, we're not blue, we're purple. We will support and back candidates and parties that are on both sides of the aisle. Again, our only concern is our industry. So we are not looking to make friends with Republicans or Democrats or to support one or the other. We're looking to support the candidates and the party that best supports our industry. We look at all kinds of different things, from school districts to local campaigns to state and national. RPAC money is split up 3 different ways. So when you contribute to RPAC or you invest in RPAC, your money is going to the state, the national, and the local levels. So that money gets busted up 3 different ways, and that way we can spread that money across not only our local area, but our state and our country. One of the reasons why I got involved in RPAC is because I really finally understood why we invest. And we invest so that we have a voice, and we have a large voice. We are one of the, if not the largest trade organization in the country. And when you combine the millions of realtors that are out there with our resources, it really buys us a seat at the table, and that's why we do it. Because of that seat at the table, because of our loud voice, we have a ton of wins from the local level all the way up to the federal level. So one of the biggest wins for RPAC in the state of Missouri was back in 2016, proposition for a constitutional amendment for. What this was a ban in our Constitution for sales tax on services, just like what we do. So this was a huge win for us because in the event that a tax would get assigned to our commissions, it would change the way that our industry does business. So that was a huge win for us. We have smaller wins. You know, that win for the constitutional amendment, millions of dollars were invested to make sure that was a success for us. We invest smaller amounts of money in our local candidates. Our last election, I think we had like a 95% win rate on Realtor Champions. And Realtor Champions are people that really get behind what we do and who we are and support us, and so we support them. So those Realtor Champion wins are huge as well.
Because aren't there some states that do still have the sales tax on the service?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's some that have a sales tax on the service. There's other issues that are out there. If you look at Los Angeles and California right now, they just put a new tax in place on mansions, $1 million mansions. And it's if you have a mansion that sells for, and it doesn't even have to be a mansion for this amount in California, but at $5 million or more, those sellers are now paying a tax effective April 1st on the sale of their house. And it has thrown that high-end market into a frenzy over the past month of people trying to unload properties before they have to pay this huge tax. And that tax could be an enormous amount of money because it's on properties of $5 million or more. and there's a percentage that goes out there with that. If we did something like that across our area, it would cripple our market. You would have people that really want to sell a house that can't because they can't afford that tax on it. Transfer taxes, all of that stuff. We want to make sure that people have the ability to do with their property what they want to do with it and not what they have to do with it because of a tax.
Yep.
RPAC is always busy and we're always looking for new things that we need to advocate for. One of our biggest concerns with RPAC is making sure that we protect personal property rights for everybody. We want to make sure that you can do with your property whatever you want, that of course is within the means of the law, but at the same time, we want to really ensure that people have the flexibility to be a landlord if they want to, flip a house if they want to. If you want to buy a house, we want to make sure that your rights are protected to buy that house, and everybody has the same rights for home ownership. There are crazy people in our world that don't believe some people should be able to own a house, or they want to limit how much people can, how many properties they can have, or depending on what you look like, where you should be able to live. At the state level, and we've got a bunch of different initiatives that we've been working on over the past few years. One initiative that we've worked on for a long time and we've been a huge supporter of is MONA, the Missouri Non-Discrimination Act. It's a big pushing point for Missouri and also bringing in economic development to Missouri. The other thing that we've been really pushing hard for, kind of on the heels of St. Louis Realtors, is land banks and supporting bills that support land banks. And what land banks are is that it's an institution that would allow a property that is dilapidated and has back taxes and liens to get clear title and make it a viable option to sell in the traditional market. So that's one of the things that we're pushing for, and St. Louis Realtors has been amazing on getting that information up to Jeff City and getting that, moving through the legislature at this time. Something else at the state level that we're working on is making sure to increase broadband across our state. It's crazy to think that there are areas not too far from St. Charles County that don't have access to broadband. And after COVID and people working from home, having the availability of internet and broadband in a rural area is a necessity. And it's something that we have to have for us to sell houses out there. So that's another one that we're working on. There's all kinds of different things that Missouri Realtors and the National Association of Realtors are always keeping on their radar. Another one for us at the state level is a bill that's called LIHTC. It's Low Income Housing Tax Credits. This allows for developers to put up multifamily units and keep the rent affordable by offsetting some of their costs with a tax credit. So just a few of the things that we're working on at the state level. And then of course we've got local elections coming up in April with the Winsville Sewer Lateral Initiative, also supporting several different candidates. And we love to see realtors get involved and realtors run for office. One of those realtors is Rob Hussey, who's running for Winsville alderman seat. Rob used to be an alderman. Stepped out of it for a while. Now he's in a different ward, so he's running again, and we're supporting him in that election. And again, it's amazing when we have people in those positions, in those seats, that can represent realtors and understand the issues that we understand. Number one is get involved. We need more people to be involved with our Government Affairs Committee. Government Affairs is an open committee that's any member of St. Charles Realtors can show up to, and they have a voice. So when we discuss different issues, concerns, elections that are coming up, we want to hear from our membership as to who they want us to support. Because if they know somebody that supports them and what they do, we want to support them. So getting involved in government affairs, showing up, being a voice. Number two is contributing to RPAC and investing in RPAC. And I use the word invest because it's truly an investment in our industry and our future. So you can invest in RPAC. Minimum donation to RPAC, there is none. We'll take anything. But for it to count as an active investor in RPAC, it's a minimum of $25. And then the other thing is to look at becoming a major investor, an RPAC major investor. And an RPAC major investor, they pledge to contribute at least $1,000 to RPAC in a 12-month calendar period, basically. And so by making that pledge and that contribution to RPAC, it's truly an investment in the entire industry. That money, like I said, gets split up between national, state, and local. And it's the money that we raise from the major investors that really allows us to do some of the work that we do. There are different levels at major investment level, and St. Charles Realtors is lucky that we have so many major investors. Last year we had 56, I believe was our number. That's our goal again this year, is to get 56. I would love to see 60 to 100 major investors. And a lot of people say, oh, $1,000 is a lot of money. There's a bunch of different ways you can contribute to that pledge. One of the things that you can do is you can attend our annual RPAC auction or any of our RPAC events. Our RPAC auction is one of the best in the state, and I would argue one of the best in the country. And it's because we have the best volunteers, the best affiliates, and the best members that show up and make that such a fun event. We couldn't do what we do without the donations we get from our members and our affiliates. And so what you can do at that RPAC auction is you show up and you get to bid against your friends and your colleagues and your competitors on some really fun items, experiences, electronics, you name it, we've got it. And whatever you spend on that item, that money counts towards your investment. So if you go out and you buy, a laptop for $1,000, you're now an RPAC major investor and you get that credit. So you got something for your money, but at the same time, a bigger thing is you made that investment in your industry. So last year was the best auction we've ever had, and we raised over $102,000 in one night. So it was an amazing night. We have a lot of people that care about our industry, and it was fun. Don't get me wrong, we all had a blast doing it. But to be able to be a membership of 2,000 members, a little less than that, and to raise $102,000 in one night was just crazy. So it was absolutely amazing.
That is a really good accomplishment. So what's the goal for this year?
So this year, 102 is a big goal for last year. We want to sustain. We want to break that 100,000 mark. I'd love to hit 105 or 110, but as long as we can break that 100,000 mark again this year, that's what we're shooting for. This year's auction is going to be bigger and better than ever before. So we have changed the venue. For the past few years, we've been at the Bogey Hills Country Club. This year, we are relocating to the St. Charles Convention Center so we can hold a whole lot more people, have a whole lot more auction items, and hopefully raise a whole lot more money. So it's going to be an amazing event, and we're looking forward to everybody coming out and being a part of that. So the one thing I'll say is I've been a licensed realtor since 2012, and in 2018 is when I started to get involved. When I paid my dues every year, I was the one that unchecked that box not to pay extra money to RPAC because I didn't understand it. And so one thing that I encourage everybody to do is to ask questions and really understand what RPAC does and how it benefits not only the realtors, but our industry as a whole and our affiliates, because it's such a huge part of what we do. And anybody that's sold a house that's had an occupancy inspection that needs to be completed. In St. Charles, we have fought really hard with our municipalities to eliminate almost all occupancy inspections for resale in our county. We have 3 left. If you go to St. Louis County, there's still 88 municipalities, and of the 88 municipalities, there's probably 70 different occupancy inspections. That was something that, when I say fought, it wasn't so much that we fought, we educated. We got the right people in place, and then we educated those people on why occupancy inspections are not good for the client. It gives a false sense of security to a client that thinks that they don't have to go out and pay for a residential occupancy inspection by a private company because the city's doing one. Well, we all know that when a city does an occupancy inspection, they check an outlet, maybe look at the electrical box, and they might look for chipping paint. That's not a safety inspection. So we need a true private inspection to show our clients what is underlying issues in those homes. And that's one of the reasons I got involved, was making sure that we can educate and be on the same team as the people that are holding office, no matter what party they're a part of. Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. We are focused on realtor-related issues. And so I would encourage you, before you uncheck that box, make a phone call. Reach out to the association, reach out to me, reach out to any member of government affairs or the PAC to ask how this money is being invested and to understand where it's going, what it's doing, and the benefit that it's providing to protect your industry. and also to protect the property rights of everybody that's out there that wants to buy a home. I never want to have to tell somebody that I can't sell them a house because of the way they look or because of some other issue. And if we don't protect the ability for people to buy homes and use homes as they deem fit, we're doing ourselves a disservice. And that's why it's so important to invest in RPAC and invest in our future.